All right, let's get into this next topic, Rob. The San Francisco 49ers. Now, look, I think they're a very good team, Rob. I know they're only 4-4, but I'm dismissing that.
It's crazy because the week before they were awful. And then they played so great, and we get it. The Rams are down, but still, that game is in L.A., Chris. You know, and
Rams, man.
And the Rams are bad, too. I mean, there are a few teams
I just can't. It's hard
bad
to believe that they've lost 8 straight games to the Niners in the regular season.
And you remember,
and McVay's a very good coach, right? And they've been a good team throughout that 8-game stretch.
Yeah, no, they
didn't just
turn good. Right, they didn't just turn good 2 years ago or last year.
Right,
they've been good and been to the Super Bowl twice in 8 years.
Right. Now you saw on Sunday, Rob, Christian McCaffrey threw a touchdown, 34 yards, I believe. Great pass, too. Ran for another touchdown and caught a touchdown from Garoppolo, and it was a great catch. Went up high for it. Didn't have to do too much with his feet, but made sure they were in. First of all, I'll say this, Rob. It is good to see him on a good team because he's a really good player. But only one of his years has he been on a winning team. And that was his first year, if I remember correctly. But here's the question. The first thing you always have to take into consideration, Rob, with McCaffrey is he going to be healthy? I hate to put it that way, but it's just a fact, Rob. Look at this. He played all 16 games his first 3 years. And then 2020, Rob, 3 games. 2021, 7 games. And he's played every game this year, which is good. But let's say this. If he's healthy, do you think he makes the Niners? Remember, they did all this Sunday without Deebo Samuel, who I think is one of the best football players in the league. And it may be a case for the number one. So Deebo Samuel, George Kittle at tight end, Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, Jeff Wilson Jr. has been running well. And Brandon Ayuk, who I like as a second receiver, and we know the defense is top flight. So do you think that they become, with a healthy McCaffrey, the team to beat in the NFC?
Yeah, I do. But again, as you said, if he stays healthy.
Right.
And that's still a question mark. And I mean, he looked great. We know what he can do. We weren't seeing him do that kind of stuff, Chris, in Charlotte, right? Or in right with the Panthers.
And that's what I mean. I think with a good team, you know what I mean?
Right.
And other weapons.
And other weapons
just focus on him.
Right. You can't key on him, which I get. Yeah, I mean, you would look at them and think of all the pieces that they have, and they went to the NFC Championship game a year ago. So yeah, you'd have to look around the landscape. Green Bay and Tampa are out of it. I would say yes. I mean, they'd have to be, because who else in the NFC are you really looking to? I'm not looking at the Giants. I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'm not either.
Cowboys are in the mix, Chris. The Giants are 6-2. The Eagles are there, obviously, and even Rod. And I'm not going to rip the Eagles for winning, Chris. But there's still a skepticism from me on the Eagles.
I'm not as skeptical as I was at the beginning of the year. Neither of us really believed the hype.
We both. Now,
we thought they'd make the playoffs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we both picked Dallas, the Cowboys to win the division. Right.
But look, I think the 3 best teams, Rob, in the NFC are San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Dallas. And what I will say is this, and you know, we believe Jimmy G's a good quarterback. Not great, but good.
He won 2 playoff games last year with no touchdowns thrown.
Right. I mean,
those are facts.
His numbers are, it's amazing. I think now Kyle Shanahan, Rob, is 32-15 when Jimmy G plays and or starts the game. And 9-29.
That's unbelievable.
When someone else starts. That's
a
big reason I give Jimmy G a lot of credit. We don't want to hear oh, well, he's got Cal Shanahan, or, oh, well, the team is great. The team was 1-10 when he got there.
Right.
Promptly went 5-0, and then they made him the highest paid player in the history of the league. And I get it. He's not a great quarterback, but he's good. And I agree with Rob, that as long as he doesn't make mistakes, and he was really good on Sunday, they're going to be a tough out. But I'd say this. Now, Jalen was bad in the playoffs last year. You remember that game? He was horrible.
Terrible.
But certainly right now, I have more faith in Jalen and Dak. And Dak's got Dak we've talked about it before. He hasn't beaten the good teams. But I still think that those two are better quarterbacks, at least right now, than Jimmy G. But I think everywhere else, the defenses are all good, all three of those teams. But the Niners, I think the weapons around Jimmy G, as good as Philly's weapons are, because I love A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but I think the Niners would have an edge because of their weapons. But it's going to be interesting, but I think it's those three teams in the NFC, Rob.
Yeah, it's hard to look past any of those three and not think that they will be vying for the NFC and their entry into the Super Bowl. But the 49ers, just given what they've been able to do, their history, Chris, they were in the big game. They were leading the Rams in the fourth quarter of that game, right, and gave it up.
Right.
They were right there. And now they have another piece and a guy, and it's just unbelievable when you think about where they were with starting a young quarterback and he gets hurt, right? I mean, it seems like eons ago, doesn't it?
Right,
It's
right.
For real.
No question about it. No question about it. Are you done? You think the Packers are done?
Yeah, I mean, they look done.
Really?
I mean, they do. They just, not that losing in Buffalo is the end of the world, but it's just you string together 4 losses. And I think last time he did it was, 2015 or 2016, something like that. So
that was the year I think they went 6-9-1.
Yeah, so that
might have been McCarthy's last year.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe they'll lose to the Lions on Sunday. If they lose to the Lions, then officially,
if they lose that,
then they're done to me.
Whew. Well,
I think that might.
I think they need to look at the game and look. I think Buffalo in the second half, Rob, brought its D game. I think they were obviously rolling up 24-7 at half, and I think they relaxed. I think they took their foot off the gas. And obviously Green Bay, still never made it a game, but it was a
lot of gamblers weren't happy. I'll tell you that.
Right, man, I wasn't happy.
They covered, Chris.
It was an 11-point spread, right?
I know you were like, "Are you kidding me?"
Right, I know. I was just.
You know how many people lost on that? A lot.
Oh, it was like you said. I know a lot of people were upset. Here's the thing, though. The one thing that concerned me about Buffalo, and if I was a Green Bay fan, would give me confidence, is that they ran the ball incredibly well. They ran for 208 yards. And Rob, I would say that needs to be what they do going forward. Run the ball and then let Aaron, do his thing when you need it. But I think they should run the football, Rob. Keep the other offense off the field, ball control, and then when Aaron needs to do his thing, let him do his thing. Well, and if they do that, I think they could. They might, because again, they're far from mathematically out of it.
No, they're not out
That's
of it.
That's the one saving grace for them in Tampa Bay.
And the other thing too is their defense just isn't what we thought. We thought they had a top 5 defense.
It's not horrible, but it's not top 5.
I don't know where they rank. Chris, did you see the ranking? I don't know where they are. But I would say it's more like 18,
top 12-ish.
Oh,
you think that low? Well,
Ryan, can you look it up? I'll have Ryan look it up. Where are they on team defense?
There's 2 things I look at. You got yards, total yards allowed, and then you got points per game allowed. See, now here, total yards, Rob, 1, 2, 3, eighth. Shocking. Eighth in yards allowed, okay? And then in points per game, that's when they're a little lower. Yeah, they're about
Where are they?
17. In
I
points
said
allowed.
18th. So I was thinking that's what I was feeling like. They were 18th kind of defense. You're higher
Right.
with the yards, but points, Chris, they've given up a ton of points.
Right. So, but it's still only 21 a game. It's not like they're giving up 26.
No.
or
But you
something.
just
So
expected, like some of the teams that they played, the Giants, the Jets, those are those games you
Well, that's
expected
the
coming
thing. They
in.
like Washington. They lost to some
Washington
bad
coming in.
teams. Right.
Right. Those are the bad teams.
But I'm not ready to declare them dead yet because here's the thing.
They lose to the Lions,
teams,
I'm done.
The quarterbacks Rodgers going to be vying with because you're going to have two teams from the East at least. Then the winners of the other three divisions, which is not going to be Green Bay. It's going to be Minnesota. And then you have 2 spots left. They'll be vying with maybe Marcus Mariota, maybe Brady, Matt Stafford, Danny Jones.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're going to take Rodgers over those guys. But we'll see.